ProLineTV.com presents America's longest running pregame show direct from Las Vegas, Proline. Featuring Jim Feist, who has been red hot with his opening day Proline offers and is on a 75% big game run with another monster Game of the Year winning today. Dave Koken, who started off the 2010 season with a perfect 5-0 Saturday on his high-end college releases and has a Game of the Month winner today. Scott Spreitzer, who nailed 5 of 6 big game releases last week and has a pair of Game of the Year winners that are on a combined 11-2 run. Big Al McMorty, the 34-time handicapping champion who's off another huge year and has 2 special releases to start the Proline season free of charge. And Ross Warby, who's kicking off the Proline year with a free triple header of winners. And featuring our man on the street, 2-time world champion handicapper Jeff Allen, and our host, Pat Williams.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Proline, America's longest running sports handicapping show. Mr. Jim Feist, year 36.
36 and counting, Pat. You know, it's football season. I get real excited about not only doing the show, but analyzing the lines each and every week. Last week, there were some college football games. Some teams looked absolutely horrible. Other teams looked great. Should we be buying and selling these teams already? What about the Big East? Basketball, they're the beast. Last week, they did not look that good in the on the football field. And how about these line moves? Georgia Tech, a full touchdown from 7 to 14. California from 4 to 8. Oak State, 7.5, 13.5. And in the pros, whatever happened to the home dogs? Some reverence for the home dogs. There are 8 home dogs in pro football this week. Al, whatever happened to the underdog?
Well, Jim, you touched upon teams to buy and sell. I'll tell you, one team I'm buying right now are the Oregon Ducks. The report of their demise may have been a tad premature. They lose their quarterback Masoli, but all they do in week 1, 72-0 blowout win. And I like the Oregon Ducks at 30-1 to win the national title. So I'm a huge Ducks fan this year. Dave?
I'm glad you brought up Masoli because the best moment of the first week of college football, little Jacksonville State, they come back from way down and they beat Jeremiah Masoli's new team, Mississippi. Masoli should not be eligible to play football this year. The guy got kicked out of Oregon. Amazing. He transfers and he can play right away. Guys who are unhappy, who haven't broken any laws, can transfer. They've got to sit out a year. College football is weird sometimes. I'm glad I just concentrate on who's going to try and win the game.
I'm watching game day on Saturday morning, and they have their signs behind all the guys, behind Corso and Herb Street, and there's a sign back there that says Masoli for Heistman. I'll tell you what, guys. Pittsburgh, you mentioned the Big East. Pittsburgh's never going to get any better as long as Dave Wannstedt's a coach. Too bad, talented football team. And Oklahoma State, besides Oregon, the most impressive performance to me because the only one coming back this year was T. Boone Pickens, and they blow Washington State off the field 65-17, Pat.
Guys, thanks a lot. Hey, next up, right here on Proline, we're going to take a look at Georgia Tech and Kansas. Stay tuned.
I've been red hot with my September Game of the Year offers right here on Proline. Currently on a 75% winning run, and today's big game is absolutely free. It all starts with a call to the Proline free pick phone at 1-888-294-1970. Get the free play on a recorded message. Then press 1 on your phone for today's monster release, the Blowout Game of the Year. This game will be over by halftime and is available today completely free of charge. Make the call to 1-888-294-1970 or go to ProLineTV.com now.
Looking for an edge this football season? Then go to ProLineTV.com for free plays, free stats, free odds, and much, much more, including videos of the Proline show you're watching right now. So never miss an episode. Be sure to go to ProLineTV.com.
What an opening weekend. Hi, folks. I'm Scott Spreitzer off a 5-1, 83% high-end college football Saturday. This week, I'm releasing my college non-conference knockout game of the year, along with my pro conference shocker of the year, all for only $10. My non-conference knockout games of the year and shockers of the year are on a combined 11-2, 85% winning run, but it all starts with my college heavy hitter game of the month free. Call 1-888-294-1970 and press 3 or go to ProLineTV.com right now.
One of the greatest shows on movies ever made was Hoosiers. Yeah. Great story. You can't have Hoosiers anymore because no matter how good that school is, Boise, they will never be recognized. Hoosiers didn't play the strongest schedule either.
Welcome back to Proline. Up next, the guys will be discussing the matchup between Kansas and Georgia Tech.
Hey, thanks, Roz. Losing to North Dakota State is not a good sign for Kansas. But before we get to Georgia Tech versus Kansas, let's turn to Big Al McMorty. The 34-time handicapping champion had a huge 2009 campaign and is starting off 2010 with a major offer. Big Al, 2 really big games.
Thanks, Pat. You mentioned how well I did last season. Well, I'm a numbers guy, so let me give you the exact numbers. 208 wins, just 145 losses on my clubs. That's 63 games over 500. Now, you don't have to be a math genius to figure out what you can do with 63 net winners. And today on Saturday, I have a tremendous offer. I have my Vegas Strip Move Game of the Year. That play out of a 31-1 ATS system that's lost just once since 1980. But that's not all. I also have the Michigan-Notre Dame game. That play out of an angle that's 100% perfect. Go 2-0 today, absolutely free. Call toll-free 888-294-1970. Press button number 4. That's 888-294-1970. Go 2-0, press button number 4. Call now. And speaking of 2-0, Georgia Tech, will they get to 2-0?
Al, I'm not sure, but Jim Feist, talk to me. These 2 teams had completely different results last Saturday. How did the coaches approach this weekend?
So, Pat, what you're trying to say is you want me to put some lipstick on this pig.
It is a pig.
This was quite an effort. Unless Turner Gill was sandbagging last week and say, okay, we're playing North Dakota State. We're not going to show anybody how good we really are, and we'll get them next week. I don't think that happened. You talk about they're in the hot seat. Turner Gill, that whole program's down this week. But listen to what Paul Johnson had to say. This is a quote. It's like I told them, you better brace yourself for their best shot. Their backs are against the wall. They're going to come out fighting. They're going to be upset. They're going to be mad. And I told our team, how would you feel Monday if you lost to South Carolina State? And that says it all. You know that Kansas is going to come out fighting. They're going to be mad. And look at the line move on this game. Open 7 Georgia Tech. It's already up to 14. So the odds makers thought this game would be closer than the actual public is. They're all over the favorite. Scott?
I've been saying for years on this show, get into the habit of making your lines 2 weeks in advance. And that way you're not overwhelmed by public opinion of what the team did in the previous week, if they look great or look bad, had an off week. And so I made this line 8.5, Georgia Tech. It's 14 now. You can see where I'm going. I wasn't that crazy about Georgia Tech's performance last week against South Carolina State. 384 total yards, I think, is what they had, and completed 2 passes on the entire game. I think Turner Gill knows something about option football. I'm going to have to go with the Jayhawks in this one and take the points.
What's Mangino doing these days?
Eating.
Yeah.
Just doing your life.
Scaring the hell out of buffet operators all over the place. But, all of a sudden, Turner Gill's, his debut, not the best for Kansas. I think Georgia Tech may just be too strong for them. I think Kansas has some real problems right now, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, they're not going to be bad, but the problem is, how do you contain the Georgia Tech option? It's not something Kansas has probably had a whole lot of time to prepare for. The problem with taking Georgia Tech is the bus has already left the station. I mean, the number's going wild in the game, so there's no value whatsoever. But if push comes to shove, I'd have to take Georgia Tech here.
Thanks, Dave. And now let's go out to the Las Vegas Strip. And 2-time world champion handicapper Jeff Allen, he opened last Saturday with executive and goal plays going 5-1. Jeff, Georgia Tech, Kansas, how do you see it?
Thanks, Pat. And definitely 2 programs heading in opposite directions. For Kansas, gone is head coach Mangione. The new regime is Turner Gill from Buffalo, Chuck Long, and Carl Torbish from Mississippi State. Last week, a home loss to North Dakota State. For Georgia Tech, Paul Johnson has his program back. Quarterback Nesbitt running the triple option. I like Georgia Tech for a small play because the big plays are winning early at Jeff Allen Sports. Georgia, South Carolina is huge. Michigan, Notre Dame, Miami, Ohio State, plus 2 best bets, 5-0 free, toll-free message. Call 1-800-638-3411. I'm going 5-0 free, starting at noon Eastern. TV action, 1-800-638-3411. That's 800-638-3411. Back to you, Pat.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. And when we come back, Florida State takes on Oklahoma. Stay tuned.
Last Saturday, 2-time world champion handicapper Jeff Allen went 5-1 on executive and gold plays.
That's right. I'm red hot today at noon Eastern. Georgia, South Carolina, Gold Club Game of the Month. 4-0 TV action, toll free on the message phone. Call 1-800-638-3411. I love this game by 4 touchdowns, 4-0 TV sweep, 5-0 free, toll-free message. 1-800-638-3411. That's 1-800-638-3411.
Hi, I'm Dave Koken, and I love the start of the football season. Look at last week. Finished off the preseason with a great week, and then on Saturday, won all 5 of my top college plays. Now, there's a free play on tape right now at 1-888-294-1970. Then press the 2 and get my college game of the month free. Hey, I don't like to take any chances. I play when the odds are on my side. Call 1-888-294-1970 or visit ProlineTV.com and find out what I mean, free.
Hi, I'm Al McMorty. I won big last year. 208 winners, just 145 losses on my clubs. That's a whopping 63 games over 500. I'm going to do it again this year, and it gets started today with a huge blowout winner. It's my Vegas strip move game of the year, but that's not all. I'll also throw in my 100% perfect Notre Dame Michigan system winner absolutely free. Go 2-0 today. Call 888-294-1970, press button number 4, or go to ProLineTV.com.
We're back with another great discussion on Florida State versus Oklahoma.
Thanks, Roz. And we're talking about a Florida State football team that is without Bobby Bowden for the first time in 34 years. But we do have Smokin' Dave Koken back with us this season on Proline, and he started the college football season going a perfect 5-0 with his top-end releases last Saturday. Dave, it's a Game of the Month special.
Yeah, leave it to you to be sure to mention Bobby Bowden leading into me because, of course, if you're going to talk about an old guy, then you go to Koken. Kind of makes it for a smooth transition. Next week, Paterno. Last week was absolutely incredible. Great way to finish the pro football preseason. I had my preseason game of the year on the Bucs, and I went 3-0-1 on Thursday. Then on Saturday, my 5 top plays in the college: Colorado, Notre Dame, Alabama, Fresno State, and the under in the Texas race game. That's a perfect 5-0, and that's the way it goes for me at the start of the season. That's why I do all the work in the preseason to get ready for the regular season. My college game of the month is going today. Right now, at 1-888-294-1970, there's a free play on tape, and then by pressing the 2 on your telephone keypad, it's my college game of the month, and that is completely free as well. Going to be a blockbuster Saturday. Take advantage and have a great day.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, stay hot this weekend. Oklahoma, Florida State, Jimbo Fisher, Scott Spreitzer, a big game.
Yes, it is, but I got to tell Dave. I mean, Paterno's got a few more years to go before you can start comparing yourself with him. So, but as far as Florida State, Oklahoma, listen, I know I'm not the only guy out there who actually thinks that Utah State is a pretty good football team this year. 16 returning starters. I really believe that Utah State has a shot. He's laughing at me. I'm totally serious here. They got a shot to make it to a bowl game. So when they went into Norman, okay, maybe Oklahoma should have kept their foot on the gas, so to speak, when they were up 21-0 and not win 31-24. But I wasn't shocked that Utah State covered that spread, kept it a little bit closer than most thought. Here's the deal about Oklahoma. That offense, last year, do you know, even though they lost a few games, they still average more than 130 yards per game in conference action. The defense is better. I question Florida State's defense. They gave up some 430 yards a game last season. I'm not sure they're all that much better just because they beat up on Samford. Guys, I'm going to lay the points here with Oklahoma.
Well, that's what you keyed on at the end was the key for me here, and it's why I like Oklahoma as well. Nice performance against the FCS team last week by Florida State. Ponder's a real good quarterback. They can put points on the board. That Seminole defense was just terrible last year, putrid. And I don't know how much it's improved, and don't be fooled by Oklahoma's narrow margin of victory. They had that game put away and just relaxed, and Utah State snuck back in.
Yeah, you know, teams in week 1 that have lackluster wins, they often rebound in week number 2. Look at last year, Ohio State, favored by 22 over Navy. They won by just 4 points in that week 1 game. The next week, nobody wanted the Buckeyes against Southern Cal. They cover the spread. Here, Oklahoma favored by 34 points. They only win by 7. They failed to cover by 27 points. But consider, over the past 30 years, teams that were favored by more than 14 points that didn't win by double digits, but they did win outright. Those teams are 70% against the spread in week number 2, including a powerful 24-5 ATS if they're not favored by 14 points. Jim, I've got to lay the wood with Oklahoma.
Well, with those kind of stats, I can't blame you, but I actually have a very strong play in this game, so I'm really not going to talk about it. Oklahoma backers have to be a little concerned with them giving up that much yardage to Utah State. We'll see what happens this week.
Hey, thanks, guys. Right after the break, the Cincinnati Bengals travel to New England to take on the Patriots. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Dave Koken, and I love the start of the football season. Look at last week. Finished off the preseason with a great week, and then on Saturday, won all 5 of my top college plays. Now, there's a free play on tape right now at 1-888-294-1970. Then press the 2 and get my college game of the month free. Hey, I don't like to take any chances. I play when the odds are on my side. Call 1-888-294-1970 or visit ProlineTV.com and find out what I mean, free.
What an opening weekend. Hi, folks. I'm Scott Spreitzer off a 5-1, 83% high-end college football Saturday. This week, I'm releasing my college non-conference knockout game of the year, along with my pro conference shocker of the year, all for only $10. My non-conference knockout games of the year and shockers of the year are on a combined 11-2, 85% winning run, but it all starts with my college heavy hitter game of the month free. Call 1-888-294-1970 and press 3 or go to ProLineTV.com right now.
I've been red hot with my September Game of the Year offers right here on Proline. Currently on a 75% winning run. And today's big game is absolutely free. It all starts with a call to the Proline free pick phone at 1-888-294-1970. Get the free play on a recorded message. Then press 1 on your phone for today's monster release, the Blowout Game of the Year. This game will be over by halftime and is available today completely free of charge. Make the call to 1-888-294-1970 or go to ProLineTV.com now.
Welcome back to the Proline Show. Up next, our panel will be discussing the matchup between the Cincinnati Bengals and the New England Patriots.
Thanks, Roz. And yes, it is a big test for my hometown Cincinnati Bengals. Chad, T.O., and the reality roadshow known as the Cincinnati Bengals travel to New England. But before we get to that, someone who passed their opening day test last week was Smash Mouth handicapper Scott Spreitzer. He went 5-1, 83% winners with his high-end releases, and he is now on an 8-2, 80% 10-year run. He releases his non-conference knockout game of the year. Scott, another blowout winner, I'm sure.
I got another blowout in store, Pat. In fact, it's non-conference knockout game of the year weekend. 3 big plays await right now at 1-888-294-1970. Press 3 on the touch-tone phone, and I'm releasing my heavy hitter game of the month in college football free, and for just $10, my non-conference knockout game of the year in college football, my shocker of the year in the pros at no additional cost. Man, I got to tell you, I'm making my lines last week. I'm looking at the lines. They're jumping off the sheet at me. I lean over to the stereo. First thing I hear is gaga, ooh la la, and I said, I cannot describe this sheet any better. It's outstanding. Non-conference knockout game of the year weekend, 1-888-294-1970. Press 3 on your touch-tone phone.
Scott Spreitzer, ladies and gentlemen. Holy Jim, what a great week 1 matchup. The Bengals traveling to take on the Patriots.
I'm not going to try to do anything that has anything to do with that. But Carson Palmer says that when you're from Cincinnati, everybody expects you to lose because they've been a losing city for such a long time. Well, last year they weren't a losing city. They won a division. Good defense, strong running game. They're not the passing team everybody thinks they are. They have Ocho there, and they have T.O. there now. They might add a little bit of passing offense, but they run the ball very well. The Patriots are not the same club they were years ago. They have problems on defense, and Randy Moss is feeling unloved. He has a contract, and they're not renegotiating an extension. So I'm going with the underdog here.
You know, I can't argue with anything you just said, Jim, but I'm a numbers guy, and I took a look at the numbers last night, and I looked at how road underdogs in week 1 of pro football do if they're catching 3 or more points and they won 10 or more games the previous year. Would you believe now 0-14 against the spread if their opponent won 12 or less games the previous season? Dave, that's the situation here. I'm going to take New England.
Well, I like the total of the game. I detected a note of sarcasm there in your little comments about Randy Moss, Jim.
A little bit. I mean, it's hard to feel unloved when you're making $20 or $30 million.
I'm a New Englander, and so on behalf of all New Englanders and Patriots fans, Randy Moss, shut up and go play, all right? This is the prima donna bowl of the year. I think it's going to be high scoring, and I'm taking the over between the Bengals and Patriots.
Thanks, Dave Koken. Hey, right now, let's go back to the Las Vegas Strip with 2-time world champion handicapper Jeff Allen. Jeff, Cincinnati, New England, how do you see it?
Well, Cincinnati, a low-key effort in the preseason. New England, a lot of young players, both divisional champs last season. Head coach Lewis, 19-10 under the total in this underdog role. I like this game under for a small play tomorrow because today, right now, Georgia, South Carolina, Gold Club Game of the Month, plus 4-0 TV action. I'm going 5-0 free on the message phone. Call 1-800-638-3411. I started last Saturday, executive goal plays 5-1. Today, more of the same. 5-0 free, toll-free message, 1-800-638-3411. Georgia, South Carolina, Notre Dame, Michigan, Miami, Ohio State, Gold Club burial by 4 touchdowns, 5-0 free on the message phone, 1-800-638-3411. That's 1-800-638-3411. Back to you, Pat.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. And coming up next, Colts, Texans. Stay tuned.
Last Saturday, two-time world champion handicapper Jeff Allen went 5-1 on executive and gold plays.
That's right. I'm red hot today at noon Eastern. Georgia, South Carolina, Gold Club Game of the Month. 4-0 TV action, toll free on the message phone. Call 1-800-638-3411. I love this game by 4 touchdowns. 4-0 TV sweep, 5-0 free, toll free message. 1-800-638-3411. That's 1-800-638-3411.
What an opening weekend. Hi, folks. I'm Scott Spreitzer off a 5-1, 83% high-end college football Saturday. This week, I'm releasing my college non-conference knockout game of the year, along with my pro conference shocker of the year, all for only $10. My non-conference knockout games of the year and shockers of the year are on a combined 11-2, 85% winning run, but it all starts with my college heavy hitter game of the month free. Call 1-888-294-1970 and press 3 or go to ProlineTV.com right now.
Looking for an edge this football season? Then go to ProlineTV.com for free plays, free stats, free odds, and much, much more, including videos of the Proline show you're watching right now. So never miss an episode. Be sure to go to ProlineTV.com.
Hi, I'm Dave Koken, and I love the start of the football season. Look at last week. Finished off the preseason with a great week, and then on Saturday, won all 5 of my top college plays. Now, there's a free play on tape right now at 1-888-294-1970. Then press the 2 and get my college game of the month free. Hey, I don't like to take any chances. I play when the odds are on my side. Call 1-888-294-1970 or visit ProlineTV.com and find out what I mean, free.
Welcome back to the Proline Show. We have one last game to discuss as the Colts take on the Texans.
Thanks, Roz. A divisional game to start things off for Peyton Manning and a Colts team that once again is favored to win it all. And speaking of favorites, we'll turn to world champion handicapper Jim Feist. He's been handicapping football games for over 40 years, and he's known for his fast starts, and he's already nailed 2 big Game of the Year winners this preseason. And Jim, today you have a college blowout Game of the Year.
That's right, Pat. I won my preseason Game of the Year with Houston over Dallas 23-7, and my total of the year with Buffalo and Detroit as they both sailed over the total. I like this early season schedule, and I win these early season games. And today, I have a monster game that I'm releasing as my college blowout of the year. This game will be over by halftime, and it's available absolutely free of charge. Just make the call to the Proline free pick phone at 1-888-294-1970 and press the number 1 on your phone. That's 1-888-294-1970 or go to the ProlineTV.com website.
Thanks, Jim. Big Al McMorty, 17th all-time meeting between these two teams. The Colts, 15-1 straight up.
That's true, Pat, but the one thing here is that it's the first time the Colts have not been favored by 3 points. Now, last year, of course, Indianapolis got to the big show, but they fell to the New Orleans Saints as a touchdown favorite. And for years now, pro teams have had trouble after losing the Super Bowl. They often have what is called a hangover effect. And I think that might affect Indianapolis this season. Dave, road favorites after losing the Super Bowl now, if they're -4 or less, 5-24 against the spread since '93.
Pretty amazing, isn't it? Look, this is what it comes down to. I really like this Houston Texans team. I think they've got a chance to do a great deal of damage this year. But they don't win big games. They've got to break through. Maybe they will here, but until they do, I have to go against them in games like this, which means I like the Colts.
I'm going to go with the total here, and I know, you talked about a hangover. I think one of their problems is that offensive line, which is, pretty banged up, but they've had enough time now because Saturday's been out for a while where they could get ready for this Houston defense. And how about Kareem Jackson, a rookie for Houston, having to start in the defensive backfield against Peyton Manning? and then you get the Matt Schaub led offense. I think you're going to see plenty of points in this one. I'm playing it over.
Thanks, Scott. Right after the break, our panel gives you their plays of the week.
Hi, I'm Russ Warbe, and I'm kicking off the Proline season with a triple header of big games. It all starts today with my TV game of the week between Penn State and Alabama. Then it's Sunday's pros. I have a pair of opening day blowouts I am releasing as my two-team parlay of the month. Just call the Proline free pick phone at 1-888-294-1970 and press the number 5 to get on board. That's 1-888-294-1970 or go to ProlineTV.com.
Hi, I'm Al McMorty. I won big last year. 208 winners, just 145 losses on my clubs. That's a whopping 63 games over 500. I'm going to do it again this year, and it gets started today with a huge blowout winner. It's my Vegas Strip Move Game of the Year, but that's not all. I'll also throw in my 100% perfect Notre Dame Michigan system winner absolutely free. Go 2-0 today. Call 888-294-1970, press button number 4, or go to ProLineTV.com.
Looking for an edge this football season? Then go to ProLineTV.com for free plays, free stats, free odds, and much, much more, including videos of the Proline show you're watching right now. So never miss an episode. Be sure to go to ProLineTV.com.
I've been red hot with my September Game of the Year offers right here on Proline. Currently on a 75% winning run, and today's big game is absolutely free. It all starts with a call to the Proline free pick phone at 1-888-294-1970. Get the free play on a recorded message. Then press 1 on your phone for today's monster release, the Blowout Game of the Year. This game will be over by halftime and is available today completely free of charge. Make the call to 1-888-294-1970 or go to ProLineTV.com now.
Hey, welcome back to Proline. Up next, our panel's plays of the week. Big Al McMorty.
My play, the Houston Texans. I'm going 2-0 today, absolutely free. Call 888-294-1970. Press button number 4. My Vegas Strip Move Game of the Year, and Notre Dame, Michigan out of 100% system, 888-294-1970, button number 4.
Thanks, Big Al. The veteran, Dave Koken.
That's very nice. Oklahoma to win big over Florida State. 2-touchdown win for the Seminoles. 1-888-294-1970 for that free play that's on tape. Press the 2 and get my college game of the month completely free of charge.
Hey, thanks, Dave. And up next, Smash Mouth handicapper Scott Spreitzer.
Top play, Pat, is the Oklahoma Sooners. I've got 3 big plays available right now, all part of my college football non-conference knockout game of the year weekend. All you have to do is call 1-888-294-1970 and press 3 on your touch-tone phone.
Hey, thanks, Scott. Last but not least, Mr. Jim Feist.
Thank you, Pat. My top play this week is the Cincinnati Bengals in a straight-up upset. And don't forget my college blowout of the year, 1-888-294-1970. Press 1 on your phone.
Hey, everybody, that's our show for this week. Remember to catch Proline every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. right here on USA for another great week of college and pro football. We'll see everybody next week.